Section 1, Getting Organized and Getting Started. Part 1, Developing Your Financial Blueprint.
America has become a nation of financial victims. Those who fall prey to fast-talking and sometimes even well-meaning salespeople who often turn your financial decisions into financial waste. Every family makes 2 or 3 major money management decisions every single month. Because of a lack of training, these decisions often turn out to be financial errors. Guessing at financial decisions or listening to bankers, brokers, automobile or insurance salesmen will cause you to throw away an easy $1,000 a month. Knowledge is your first line of defense. For every financial decision, there is an optimum strategy, the right strategy. I've compiled all of these important strategies into your Money Strategies library with your tapes and your manual. Making decisions with optimum money strategies will keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket, saving you or making you thousands of dollars every year. As a Givens Organization member, we will help you turn financial waste into spendable profits, double the purchasing power of your money, create a financial plan that gives you total control over your financial future, cut your income tax liability in half, put together $1 million retirement plan, and double the profits from your investment plan. We'll turn you into a self-confident, competent money manager. These objectives you will accomplish using the tools in your membership. First, the Charles J. Givens Money Strategies Library. Second, your applications workshops. Third, your monthly Financial Digest newsletter. And fourth, your Money Strategies telephone hotline. All of these financial tools have been designed to simplify your life and make your wealth building plan easy to implement. In addition, your membership provides you with lots of money-making, money-saving services. We'll help you find the lowest possible rates when you buy a car. We'll always tell you where you can get the lowest rate on MasterCard and Visa. We've created the Life Insurance Clearinghouse for you, which will find you the lowest possible rates on life insurance, and through our affiliate company, Delta First Financial, we'll help you one-on-one with investment planning. You can have your own personal, registered and licensed financial planner, and even a Delta Advantage account where we'll do the work of moving your mutual fund for you. If you have poor credit, we'll help you by steering you to MasterCards and Visas called Secure Cards that will help you overcome credit problems. Through your hotline, you can get credit counseling. And we have Delta groups in many areas for members who would like to meet monthly for continuing education. As far as a business opportunity, we have one at the organization as well called Share the Wealth. And if you need a credit reference and you've used the payment plan, we'll even give you the credit reference. In the future, the Givens Organization is going to help you by having a national hospitalization insurance plan for our members, a national automobile insurance program, and you'll be able to apply for home mortgages easily and conveniently through the Givens Organization. Stop the tape for a few minutes, open your reference manual, and read the specific instructions for using each of your important membership tools. Money won't buy emotional happiness, but it certainly will buy financial happiness. It's my experience that with a carefully laid out plan and the commitment to following it, anyone or any family can both build a beautiful lifestyle in the present without sacrificing the future, and build a financially sound future without sacrificing the present. How? By making every dollar count. By spending, not saving your way to financial success. The concept is simple. All the money you earn, except what resides in the cookie jar, is eventually spent. You can only spend money in 2 ways. Spending for your lifestyle, number 1. That means buying goods, services, and entertainment. Number 2, you can buy investments. That means spending for your future. But what if you had the knowledge to save so much money when buying goods and services, you would have all the money it would ever take for investing in a sound and happy financial future? No saving, No sacrificing. For instance, let's say that you're spending $900 every year on your automobile insurance, and you suddenly acquire the knowledge to cut your premiums to $450 without sacrificing the quality and quantity of your insurance. Your $900 would then buy you, first, your automobile insurance, second, a $450 per year investment. In addition to buying your insurance, over the 10 years, you have an additional $4,500 to invest, which invested correctly will grow to $9,500. That's almost $1,000 a year of free money produced by a plan that saves you only $400 a year. As a Givens Organization member, you have at your fingertips over 300 strategies, all of which have the same impact as the example that I just discussed. You can have the lifestyle you want and $1 million waiting for you at retirement, all accomplished by how you spend your money now. The next 20 years are going to happen to you anyway. How they happen to you financially is based totally on what you know and what you do, or by default, what you don't know and therefore can't do. It's not how long you live that counts, it's how much you live. Let's talk about how you can become a financial magnet. There are those who seem to attract money and those who can't seem to hang on to a dime. The difference is a function of the mind and not a function of income or assets. With knowledge, attitude, and control, you can become a magnet for financial opportunity instead of a victim of continual financial crises. Some even think they have a financial cloud or curse hanging over their heads. Just when the light appears at the end of the tunnel, that's when the car breaks down, there's an unexpected medical bill, the credit card bill is twice what's expected, or the bank balance was 200 short of what showed in the check register. These are common symptoms of financial ignorance, the inability to control and create financial progress. Think of two bar magnets. Remember way back in science class when we were taught opposite poles attract and like poles repel? Put one south pole and one north pole of the two magnets near each other, and they will be attracted with instant and surprising force. Put the two north or the two south poles together and they will repel each other with the same force. That is exactly how the mind and financial opportunity work together, or all too often work against each other. With money, there is a set of principles that will work all the time and work for everybody. And those principles we're going to call our money strategies. The same principles that to the financially successful are completely logical are often illogical to the financially illiterate. That's what makes getting out of the financial rut seem so difficult. The approach is always an attempt to do more of what doesn't work. Success is never accomplished through doing more of what doesn't work, but only through using strategies that do work. Financial success is easy if you can just get someone to tell you the rules of the game. One of the easiest things I ever accomplished was becoming a millionaire. That didn't take long. The hardest job was figuring out how to do it. That took me over 20 years. You've got something I never had, an entire organization to help you learn and apply the elusive rules of wealth building. That is what the Givens Organization is all about. There are only two other possible alternatives. Continue doing exactly what you're already doing, working harder and trying harder. That approach will create plenty of frustration, but not wealth. Doing more of what doesn't work won't make it work any better, no matter how good your intentions, no matter how hard you try. By following the guidelines you're about to learn, you will become unstoppable financially, a real pro at making and managing your money. And because of this knowledge, you can build your wealth without risk. The two most important words in wealth building are planning and control. Did you ever wonder why some people become super achievers while others just falter and sputter with only talk of what they want to accomplish? The difference is not talent, it's not a college education, rich parents, or even built-in motivation. The difference between those who accomplish their dreams and those who only dream of accomplishing is planning and control. There are laws of cause and effect when it comes to reaching your objectives, which makes success a science and not an accident. Anyone who chooses to follow the rules or strategies for accomplishment will be met with a rich, rewarding, satisfying life. Those who are controlled by life, instead of controlling their lives, usually end up frustrated, angry, and cynical. Taking control means first identifying and accepting where you are, and then creating a dynamic plan to take you where you want to go in the minimum time with the maximum satisfaction. Personal or financial success, therefore, begins not with strategies, but with a definition of your objectives. Goals to bring satisfaction must be in alignment with your values. And in this section, you will work on identifying your predominant values and choosing your important goals. There are 4 important parts to your plan: your dreams list, your values list, your goals list, and your strategies list. Together they become your blueprint for a rich, rewarding journey. Money strategies mean little unless they are part of a greater plan. Strategies are only tools, not ends in themselves. Your dreams are your destination, and your goals are the signpost of accomplishment that define your path. How important are goals? Harvard Business School did a study of its graduates over a 10-year period. Amazingly enough, they found that 83% had no goals whatsoever. 14% had goals, but they weren't written. Only 3% of Harvard Business School graduates had a written plan. Those 3% were earning 10 times the money on the average of the other 83%. But remember, your income does not determine your outcome. The amount of money that will pass through your hands over a working lifetime is incredible. For example, if you work 40 years and only earn an average of $25,000 a year, you will have made $1 million. If you get an annual raise of only 5%, the million explodes to $3 million. And there's no question or not whether you can make $1 million. The real question is, how quickly can you make your first million, and how much of it can you keep? What would you do if you did have more money? A typical family conversation might go like this.
Brad, if we could only get some extra money, there is so much we could do. We could send the kids to college, pay off the mortgage.
You know, you've got no imagination at all, Brenda. If we had any extra money, I think we'd probably take a trip to Europe or buy a new Cadillac.
Well, if you want to think like that, I could imagine myself in a new Mercedes.
Well, you're thinking.
This couple is dreaming, but certainly not planning. And planning is the connective link between dreams and accomplishment. An even more typical conversation goes like this.
Honey, you all set to go?
Oh yeah, do you have money for the babysitter?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. No, I'm afraid not. I got $5. And you know, I started this morning with $100 in my wallet.
$100. Where did it all go?
$20 on gas, $35 at the grocery store, $25 for that dry cleaning we dropped off yesterday, and then $15 at the drugstore. That's $95. I got $5 left.
That's unbelievable.
Jeez.
What's worse, our visa came today. Look at this.
I don't know. $817 this month. You know, what are we going to do?
These folks are out of control. Right now, their dream is limited to having some money left over at the end of the month after all of their bills are paid. Or how about this couple?
Bert, we've got to be more conservative. We can't afford to lose another dollar. Ever since we retired, costs have gone up and up, but our income is the same.
I know. We should never listen to that broker. He put us into commodities. Now we have less money than we've ever had, and our taxes are eating us alive.
This couple is scared. They seem to be caught in the retirement trap, the chance that they will be around longer than their money. They've stopped dreaming, and they've started worrying. All of these scenarios are caused by the same factors: lack of direction, lack of knowledge, and lack of financial control. Developing a financial blueprint is the answer for all financial situations. Your blueprint puts you back in control. All parts of your financial blueprint affect each other, and when aligned correctly, give you practically unlimited power to accomplish. Before learning and using strategies, it is a must to first make a dreams list, then identify your values, finally choose your goals, and then apply the strategies I will teach you. You will find yourself easily motivated to put these strategies to work.
Strategy 1-1. Create your dreams list.
Choose a totally quiet spot where you won't be interrupted. At the top of a pad of paper, write the following. If I had unlimited time, talent, money, and support from my family, here's everything I'd like to do in my life. Relax and let the ideas pour from both your conscious and subconscious minds. Don't evaluate your potential for achieving each item you write. Remember, this is just a dreams list. What you will write will excite you, motivate you, inspire you, sometimes make you laugh, but most of all, define desires and dreams that all too often are ready to surface but are held back by the complexities of daily living. Write it all down, no matter how silly it seems, no matter what it costs. The ideas will come slowly at first, gaining speed as you leave behind the realities and limits in your life. Stop the tape here and make a list of 15 of your dreams. You, of course, can add more to the list if you want. You'll find in your reference manual a form, a dreams list form for you to use, and one for your spouse to use if you have a spouse. I created my first dreams list quite accidentally right after I got out of high school. I went to work for a little grocery store bagging groceries. And I was a very shy kid. I didn't talk very much, but I dreamed a lot. And one day I sat down and did the exercise that I'm telling you about right now. And I will promise you, it's one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. My first list was 181 dreams long, of which 170 have already become reality. Since that time, I've added hundreds of others, as you will probably find yourself doing. All of us, at any age, have dreams, and the first step to turn those dreams into reality is to get those dreams out in front of you where you can see and feel them. Having taught my students this dreams list strategy for over 12 years now, I've seen people do some truly wonderful things that they may never have done had they not created that dreams list. Ideas and beliefs about the relative worth of things in your life are called values. If you value security highly, choosing to leave your job and start your own business would be unlikely, or could cause a great deal of stress, unless, of course, you changed your values. On the other hand, if you value wealth above security, staying in a safe, secure job at an average wage would be a frustrating experience. You would constantly be looking for opportunity. If, on the other hand, you value security and wealth equally, you would experience the frustration of values conflict. The feeling that any decision might be the wrong one and making no decision at all might be even worse. The emotions and frustration are all mental and have nothing to do with what is the right or wrong decision. In the next exercise, you will create your own values list, making a list of your major values in order of importance. Values are programs in the mind and can be changed only with constant prodding, attention, and affirmation. In other words, to change your values, even if it is in your best interest, you must reprogram what's in your mind. It is far easier, though not always as rewarding, to change your actions, to get rid of the conflicts and live your life in accordance with what you already value most. Surprisingly, there are only a total of about 20 different values in life, and these values in different combinations result in the differences in people's actions. The differences in the wants, desires, and objectives people set for themselves are the direct result of different values. You'll be shocked how much easier life becomes after you create and prioritize your values list. Your values list will also enable you to choose the dreams on your dreams list that should come first. The accomplishment of those dreams and goals that are in alignment with your top 5 values will be the most satisfying and personally rewarding. That's where 80% of your available energy and time should be spent.
Strategy 1-2. Spend the majority of your time on those values which are the most important to you.
Time is always limited. You'll get the greatest sense of satisfaction when your time is spent on those objectives, projects, adventures, and relationships you value the most. Therefore, it is important to prioritize your values once you discover them. It is you and only you that can decide what's important in your life. Why spend any time doing anything else?
Strategy 1-3. Identify your current values by identifying and prioritizing your values.
Turn to your manual, and you'll find a values list, one for you or one for your spouse or mate. Go through the list once or twice, checking off those values which seem important to you. Check them off on the lines on the left-hand side of the page. Next, prioritize those values which you have checked from 1 to 10, from most important to least important. You may, of course, prioritize more than 10 values. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers. Stop the tape and create your own values list.
Strategy 1-4. Identify and eliminate destructive values from your life.
Most values are positive, but there are destructive values that always lead to personal failure and must be changed for those who want a successful, fulfilling life. Destructive values include, first of all, the desire of something for nothing. Symptoms include gambling, cheating, or stealing. Secondly, destructive values include the desire to feel superior to others, and symptoms include gossip or prejudice, bigotry, aloofness, criticism, and even blame. Thirdly, a destructive value can include the desire for continuous instant pleasure, and symptoms often include overspending, overindulgence in food, alcohol, drugs, or anything else. Identifying destructive values is the most important step in their elimination. Destructive values are parasitic and drain energy that could be spent on the things you value the most. A jockey who is overweight by only 4 pounds can lose a race, even on the best horse. Never put roadblocks in the way of success. Establish as one of your most important goals the elimination of any destructive values. In your manual, you'll find a page in which you can put together your destructive values elimination plan. The next step in creating your financial blueprint is to set your course by defining your goals. Now, goals are those specific objectives on which you have decided to invest your time, energy, and money. Whereas your values are mental attitudes, your goals are physical objectives. A goal can be accomplished in as little as an hour, like going to the grocery store in order to stock the refrigerator, or your goal may take most of a lifetime, like creating $1 million retirement plan. All goals to bring satisfaction must be in alignment with your important values. The higher the priority of one of your values, the greater the satisfaction you will derive from reaching a goal that affects that value.
Strategy 1-5. Focus on the result you want, and the opportunity, money, time, and talent you need will present themselves.
When you focus on what you need to accomplish your goal, you instantly become aware of what you lack, which can become a reason for inaction. For instance, my goal, you say to yourself, is a new $35,000 BMW convertible. The process trap. Well, since I only have $600 in the bank, I guess I'll never get there. Focusing on the result means you have a clear picture of your life with that BMW. You can see yourself driving it. You can feel it. You can almost taste it. And your attitude becomes one of, I will not be denied. That's how things get accomplished. Focusing on the result creates your roadmap. It's far more effective when using a map to locate first where you want to go. The shortest path from where you are becomes obvious. On the other hand, if you don't identify the location of your destination, but simply follow the roads, the red and green lines, it may take you 10 times as long to get to your destination. Your destination is the result you want. The roads are the processes of getting there. By forming a clear mental picture of each goal and never letting go of that picture, you will always find a way to accomplish what you want. In your manual, you will find fill-in-the-blanks charts to list each of these goals you have chosen for each category. Stop the tape here and write down your goals. It may take some time, but it will be worth it. I know you're anxious to get started with your money-saving and money-making strategies, but I'll promise you, developing your financial blueprint first is one of the most important steps you'll ever take in your life.
Part 2, creating your records management system.
How many times have you heard yourself say, "I'm such a lousy record keeper"? When tax time comes, the record gathering process involves looking for receipts, checks, and other necessary paperwork in drawers, shoe boxes, pocketbooks, and even in your glove compartment. Poor record keeping costs you time and money. Lots of time and lots of money. Yet by creating a simple records management system, we'll call it your RMS, you can get your records under control in one evening or a Saturday morning. And then you'll spend just a minimum amount of time and effort staying organized. A good records management system will save you hours of valuable record-keeping time, assure that you get all the tax deductions you deserve, and enable you to know your financial condition at any point in time. Records management is simple. It means knowing what records you need and knowing where to find them. In this section, you will evaluate your current system and upgrade it to a true RMS.
Strategy 1-6, choose a permanent records management area.
Good record keeping requires concentration and organization. Choose a reasonably quiet area or room in your home as your records management area. You won't need much space, but you will need enough. A desk or table and your filing cabinet, and even your personal computer if you have one, belong in this area. You can find an inexpensive desk or table. Sears, for instance, has attractive desks for as little as $75, tax deductible, of course. Keep your records management area off of the kitchen or dining room tables or any other temporary workplace. Your records management system is important enough to deserve a place of its own.
Strategy 1-7, set up your filing system.
Keeping your records organized and quickly accessible means setting up a complete filing system for receipts, bills, statements, contracts, agreements, and your personal papers. The easiest and best method is to set up files for each category of important papers. Your system will contain files by type, such as doctor bills, and by company, such as First National Bank MasterCard. To create your system, first, purchase 50 regular-size manila file folders. Second, purchase a 2-drawer filing cabinet if you don't already have one. Third, choose the file names and categories you will use. Fourth, label each folder with its file name using a pen or magic marker. Be sure and print clearly. And fifth, file all folders alphabetically in the top drawer. Sixth, use the top drawer for this year's files or contracts and agreements still in force. Seventh, use the bottom drawer as your history file for previous year's papers, completed contracts, old tax returns, and records. Later, I'll give you a formula for how long you must legally keep your records. You can combine several years of records in each history file. For instance, all of the previous several years' credit card statements from one bank in one file, but within that file, keep your records in order by year. You will refer to your history file only occasionally, but when you need history records, you want access to them quickly and conveniently. Next, purchase a printing calculator, which will cost you just $35 to $50. And you'll use your printing calculator to reconcile your bank and credit card statements and to compute your expense totals for your tax returns. Organizing and maintaining your records often seems boring and time-consuming. With your records management system, record keeping is easier automatic, and ends frustration and financial losses caused by lost or misplaced records.
Strategy 1-8. Choose the record-keeping categories for your filing system.
In your manual is a suggested checklist to help you begin your filing system. Check off those file names you will use and add other files you think you will need. The name of the file folder on the page is shown first, and the items that will probably go in your file are listed underneath.
Strategy 1-9. Purchase a plastic check box for checks, deposit slips, and check registers.
Keeping your checks organized is one of the most important steps of your records management system. Don't leave canceled checks and statements in envelopes and drawers. File checks in number order in your check file, along with deposit slips, deposit receipts, and your check register. Always reconcile your bank statements as soon as you receive them. Do you know there's an absolutely false belief that because banks use highly sophisticated computers that they can't make mistakes? Nothing can be further from the truth. My own bank once made a $40,000 mistake in my account, which was fortunately caught by my accounting department because of reconciliation. Reconcile each bank statement as soon as you receive it using the form printed on the back of the statement. In Strategy 1-9 in your manual, you'll find specific instructions for how to reconcile your bank account if you're having trouble. How do you know if you're in control of your checking account? Well, you know you're not in control if you ever have to call the bookkeeping department of your bank to check your balance before you write a check.
Strategy 1-10. Store important documents in a bank safety deposit box or a fireproof safe at home.
A few of your records are difficult, sometimes impossible to replace, and these records should be kept in a fireproof safety storage area. In your manual, you'll find a list of important, hard-to-replace papers that are good candidates for your safe. Check off those that apply to you and make sure they get put in the right place. Keep in your safety storage area mutual fund shares, stock or bond certificates, property deeds, automobile titles, your personal property inventory, marriage certificate, your will and estate plan, birth certificates, diplomas, your military discharge papers, passports. You can rent a safety deposit box at a bank or buy a fireproof metal safe for your home. The safety deposit box has the advantage of costing less initially and is available at most any bank for about $50 a year. The disadvantage is that you continue to pay rent every year and the bank is not as convenient as your home when you need access to your records. You can buy a heavy-duty metal combination safe at discount department stores like Service Merchandise or Luria's for as little as $125, or even a deluxe model from an office supply store for as much as $600. Make sure your safe is fire rated so your records are protected in case of fire. Most safes can and should be bolted to the floor for extra security. Your home safe is also a good place to store expensive jewelry or things you want to keep out of the way of your children.
Strategy 1-11. Build a tax reference library with IRS publications and forms.
Building a tax library of IRS manuals and publications is one of the easiest yet most important steps in maximizing your tax deductions. To successfully use tax-reducing strategies, you must know both the IRS record-keeping rules and the correct tax forms on which to take your deductions. The two most important IRS publications to keep in your tax library are Publication 17, which will give you the IRS guidelines for your personal taxes, and Publication 334, which will help you with record-keeping and tax rules for your small business. Using your phone book and the instructions in your reference manual, get all of the recommended publications and put them together on a shelf in your records management area. You'll find the tax forms ordering number listed under U.S. Government Internal Revenue Service Forms. Replace these publications once each year when the new ones are available, usually each December. If you prefer, you can obtain these publications in person from IRS Forms Room at the Federal Building in your area. Your mileage is deductible as a tax preparation expense on Schedule A.
Part 3. How to keep records for tax deductions.
There are a few simple record-keeping rules I want to teach you now that will ensure that you get the maximum tax deduction you deserve and that you're always in a position to prove your point in any dispute. We have compiled these record-keeping suggestions from IRS publications and even from the IRS Auditor's Manual, which gives instructions to IRS auditors for what taxpayer records can be used to substantiate deductions. Keeping the right records always keeps you prepared. Remember, when you carry an umbrella, it seldom rains. The way the tax code is written, it is your responsibility to be able to substantiate the amount and purpose of each of your tax deductions. If your record keeping is poor, you won't be in trouble with the IRS, but you may lose some of the big deductions you really deserve. That's just like burning your money. Whether you run a part-time business from your home, a full-time small business, or are a professional, or have a full-time sales job, all of these same rules apply. Let's look at your strategies.
Strategy 1-12, keep all tax records at least 7 years.
Although the statute of limitations for an IRS audit is just 3 years, you may be required to produce supporting records that apply to previous year's tax returns, such as contracts or written agreements. Therefore, keep all of your tax records at least 7 years. Records that fall under the 7-year record-keeping rule are contracts, agreements, receipts, canceled checks, tax returns, and correspondence with the IRS. When you create your 8th-year tax file, you can throw away your oldest tax file and all its contents, unless, of course, you have a sentimental attachment to it. You may wish to keep only your tax returns so you can build a history of your financial progress over your lifetime.
Strategy 1-13, keep receipts for all deductible expenses over $25. Keep a written record of expenses under $25.
Did you know that the IRS does not require a receipt for any tax-deductible expense under $25, except for lodging? Where can you get a hotel room for under $25? All you need do is keep a record of small expenses in your expense log book.
Strategy 1-14, keep expense records in a pocket-size expense log.
Enter the amount and the purpose of these expenses in your book. Examples of deductible expenses under $25 which don't require receipts could be taxi fares, tips, lunch, calculator tape, books, pens, and audio or video tapes.
Strategy 1-15, keep receipts in addition to canceled checks.
The IRS decided many years ago that your canceled checks alone are not necessarily proof of a tax-deductible expenditure. Be sure you also keep the receipt or invoice that contains the number and address of the company and the items purchased. Checks alone don't show why the expense should be deductible. You do not have to send in these receipts or checks when you file your tax return, but you may need these records someday to substantiate the deductibility of an expense.
Strategy 1-16, use a credit or debit card for effective record keeping of deductible expenses.
Cash purchases are the most difficult deductible expenditures to keep track of. A credit or debit card produces an immediate acceptable tax record because your statement shows the date, amount, and the name of the company paid. All you need do is add a few short words describing the deductible purpose. A credit card creates a charge that is billed to you on a monthly statement. A debit card is usually a Visa card which doesn't charge anything but does work like a check, deducting your purchases directly from your bank account. The advantage to a debit card is that it can't get you in credit trouble like a credit card can. Write on each receipt, at the point of purchase, the deductible purpose. For instance, lunch with Bob to discuss his products, or if you're buying office supplies or gasoline. Go through each credit card folder at tax time and total your deductible expenses. Categories can include automobile expenses, entertainment expenses, travel expenses, your food expense, office supplies, advertising, miscellaneous purchases, product costs, salaries paid, services purchased, investment and tax advice. When you receive your statement each month, mark all tax-deductible items with T's and personal purchases with a P. For easier record keeping, get a separate credit or debit card to use just for tax-deductible expenses. You will then have your deduction records all on one statement. Credit card or debit card fees are deductible as a small business expense on Schedule C for businesses set up as a sole proprietorship or other business forms for other forms of business.
Strategy 1-17. To determine the deductible portion of your VCR, home computer, or other assets, keep a time use record for 90 days.
Up until tax reform, record keeping for tax deductions was cumbersome and time-consuming. Congress had passed what it called the Adequate Contemporaneous Records Keeping Rules, which required documentation of every expense and every tax-deductible business mile. Evidently, congressmen found these rules too difficult to follow themselves, so record-keeping requirements were greatly simplified, particularly in the case of your assets like your car, your VCR, your home computer, which are used part of the time for deductible business or financial planning purposes and part of the time for non-deductible personal purposes. By using your assets in a small business or for tax or investment record-keeping, they do become tax-deductible. If you use your VCR or home computer, for instance, for both tax-deductible and non-deductible purposes, you must determine the deductible use percentage in order to earn the tax deduction. The simplest method of apportioning the deductible and non-deductible use is to take a sheet of notebook paper, draw a line down the middle, and on the left-hand side write deductible use, and on the right side write non-deductible use. There are even pre-printed sheets in your reference manual which you can use. The current record-keeping rules now require you to keep records on the business and personal use of an asset for just 90 days each year. And as long as the percentage use doesn't change materially, you can use that same percentage all year long. Make an entry in one of the two columns, deductible or non-deductible, each time you use your asset, and compute the total time. Tax-deductible uses of your VCR or home computer can include investment education and record keeping, tax education, tax record keeping and tax preparation, real estate education or real estate record keeping for your real estate investments, any use of these assets in your small business, financial planning, including the use of your Charles J. Gibbons Organization videotapes. Non-deductible use includes your personal use, entertainment, or use by the kids.
Part 4, your wealth checkup.
If winning isn't important, somebody once said, then why bother to keep score? Keeping score financially is done with your yearly wealth checkup. Your yearly wealth checkup identifies where all your money came from and went. Every December, most people end up repeating the pauper's prayer. I never made so much money, I never spent so much money, and Lord, where did it all go? Since there is no limit to the amount of money you can spend, the solution is taking better care of what you have. All the strategies you will learn in successive sections will help you do just that. First step is identifying where you are now, and you do that with your first wealth checkup. The second step is to do a yearly update. For better or for worse, you must know where you are financially. Only by planting your feet firmly on the ground where you are now can you generate the greatest momentum towards where you want to be next year and beyond. Your wealth checkup defines your income and income sources, which means where your money comes from. Secondly, your expenses and debt. That's where your money goes. Thirdly, your net worth and your financial condition. Not only will you use your wealth checkup to measure your financial progress, but the same information once gathered will be used when you apply for credit, mortgages, personal or small business loans, saving you countless hours of last-minute research. Your wealth checkup will require only 30 minutes to complete, and there's no time like the present to begin. All of the necessary forms are in your reference manual along with the instructions. Let's complete Section 1 by doing your wealth checkup. Then, using all the strategies in this section, you will now be armed to go forward, totally organized with your goals, values, and your strategies identified.
Section 2. Cutting your insurance premiums by 50%. Part 1. Life insurance.
Good morning, Mary Kay.
Good morning, Mr. Gibbons. 2 of our foundation members are here, and they have some real concerns about life insurance. They need your help.
Well, I'll be glad to talk to them. Thank you. Let's take a close look at life insurance. Life insurance is a concept that is so misunderstood, so abused by insurance salesmen, so overused for underprotection, and so detrimental to your wealth that it deserves a whole chapter unto itself. Understanding life insurance is easy once you understand the basic terms and rules. Let's look at them. Life insurance, a plan where you pay an insurance company while you're alive, and the insurance company pays your chosen beneficiary when you are not. Premium, the amount you pay to the insurance company. Life insurance premiums can be paid in one lump sum, single premiums, one check each year, annual premiums, or periodically by quarter or month. Face value, the amount of money that will be paid to the beneficiary if the insured dies. That's the amount of life insurance. Policy term, the period during which the life insurance is in force. The term can range from 1 year to an entire lifetime. Fees and commissions, these are charges levied by the insurance company against your premiums or cash values, and they have the effect of reducing your insurance coverage, the amount of your investment value, or both. Policy fees, a flat per year fee charged supposedly for the administrative costs. Policy fees on universal life range from $25 to $800 the first year per $2,000 of premium, and from $0 to $400 in subsequent years. So you can see, costs a lot for certain types of insurance. Surrender charge, a flat fee charged against the investment portion of a life insurance policy if the policy is canceled and the money withdrawn during the first 5 to 10 years. Surrender charges apply only to policies with investment plans attached, such as whole life and universal life. Surrender charges can run into thousands of dollars, money straight out of your pocket. Now let's answer the question once and for all about who needs life insurance and who does not.
Strategy 2-2. Never buy life insurance on children.
The purpose of insurance is to protect against the loss of your financial assets. Although children certainly may be emotional assets, they are not financial assets. That is, unless you've secured them a high-paying job in television commercials. Parents buy life insurance on children only because they're told by a salesman that that's the loving, responsible thing to do. Insurance on children is a life insurance salesman's dream. The pitch goes something like this. Salesman says, because you love your children, you will want to buy life insurance on them, won't you? If you answer no, it sounds as if you don't love your own kids. If you love your children, why would it help to collect large sums of money if they die? It won't. And that's precisely what's wrong with life insurance on children. Insurance belongs on the income-providing parent or parents, not the children. Another ridiculous salesman's pitch is that if you insure a child now, while he or she is young, it guarantees the child's insurability later. What parents don't realize is that, statistically, there's a 99% chance that if the child reaches age 18, he will be insurable anyway. Now let's look at the cost, or better still, the savings of insuring or not insuring your children. Whole life insurance, sold as a method of providing a $5,000 college education fund for your child, is far too inefficient to be called an investment and should not be used. A $50,000 life insurance policy on a 1-year-old child will cost $250 per year. By the time the child reaches 18, you will have paid in almost $5,000. $250 per year will give a child $40,000 with which to attend college at age 18 if you use the invested money instead, according to the strategies in this program.
Strategy 2-4. As you get older, replace life insurance with income sources.
The younger you are, the more insurance you usually need. As you get older and your responsibilities decrease, so does your need for life insurance. Your objective is to become self-insured, to have enough assets that you have no need for life insurance. The insurance salesman, on the other hand, is going to tell you the exact opposite, that the older you get, the more life insurance you need. Why? Because in sales school, the agent learned that the older you get, the more money you are likely to have that could be spent on insurance premiums.
Strategy 2-5. Never buy whole life insurance as an investment.
Life insurance should be bought as though you were going to die tomorrow. Investing should be done as though you were going to live forever. Life insurance and investing, therefore, have nothing in common. Your chance of dying during the period that you need life insurance is exceedingly smaller than your chance of living. The majority of your financial plan and your investments, therefore, should be devoted to living. Strip away all of the frou-frou, and what you have left are only two basic differences in life insurance policies. Life insurance with a savings plan attached, and just plain old life insurance with no savings plan attached. Let's take a closer look at each. Whole life insurance. Whole life insurance is the most appropriately named of the combination life insurance investment plans. Whole life is where your money goes into a hole, never to be seen again. Whole life was the first major life insurance investment combination offered by the insurance companies and has literally cheated millions out of billions since its inception. Only in the last few years has it come to light that whole life is not an investment at all, that the money you build in cash value is really the property of the insurance company and not yours, and that you are overpaying by 300 to 400% what you could be paying for the same amount of life insurance in other plans. Let's say your age is 35 and you buy a level premium whole life policy with a face value, which means a death benefit of $100,000. After paying the same premium, $1,300 each year for 20 years, the policy shows you have accumulated $35,400 of cash value. Should you die at this point, your beneficiary will not receive a total of $135,400. Your beneficiary will receive only $100,000, not the $135,000. Your so-called investment is no investment at all. Another fraud used as a sales pitch is that if you need money, you can borrow the cash value of your insurance policy at an exceedingly low interest rate of 5 to 8%, depending on the policy. What a benefit. The insurance company is charging you interest on the use of your own money, which you foolishly paid to them in the first place. Another ploy used by the salesman is to tell you that eventually your policy will be paid up. Most everyone loves the idea of a paid-up policy, a policy that at some point means no more yearly premiums. In reality, a paid-up policy means that you overpaid your insurance premiums to begin with. The overpayment will eventually be used to buy you insurance. The insurance company is using your overpayments to pay the premiums. So again, there's no such thing as a paid-up policy which benefits you. All you've done is paid your premiums in advance. Well, you might say, but I'm earning interest on the money that's in my cash value. One of the biggest financial revelations of the century was when someone discovered that with a whole life insurance policy, you were being paid only 1.3% interest. No one, however, particularly the insurance company, is revealing how the interest is paid. Through a slick maneuver, the insurance company has found a way to pay all of the interest, not to you, the policyholder, but to itself. The policyholder receives no annual interest checks for earnings on his accumulated cash value. Instead, the earned interest is added to the cash value. Another myth fostered by insurance marketers is that somehow life insurance enjoys some special tax status. That's another total misrepresentation. There are several transactions in which the question of taxes arises. The first is the concept that you can borrow your money from an insurance policy tax-free. Well, think about it. You can borrow money from anywhere tax-free, from your bank, from an equity loan on your home, even your brother-in-law. There is not, nor has there ever been, an income tax on money you borrow, since the money is not income, but only the temporary use of someone else's money. There is also the belief that insurance proceeds at the time of death are income tax exempt. Of course they are. After death, there is no income tax on any part of an estate. So insurance proceeds, which are part of the estate, are not subject to income tax. The salesmen of the insurance world, however, have led you to believe that you're getting some secret economic benefit. Insurance proceeds are subject, however, to estate tax, just like any other part of an estate is subject to estate tax. Fortunately, estate taxes now apply to those who leave an estate of over $600,000 to someone other than a spouse. Another insurance fraud is the buy young, it's cheaper sales pitch. It's true that the yearly premiums are less when you're younger, but only because you'll pay greater total premiums over a longer period of time. The same faulty reasoning would apply if an automobile salesman told you finance your car for 5 years instead of 2 years, it costs less. Actually, the car, like buying insurance young, would cost you far more. Only the monthly payments would be lower. The only reason to buy life insurance when you're young is because you have a family and few assets. Universal life insurance. Universal life insurance plans are one of the new easy-to-market darlings of the life insurance investment fast track. Earn 10 to 11% guaranteed, claim the never-ending parade of universal life ads. Of the thousands of people I lecture to every year, I have yet to meet one who has ever sifted through the claims and found the truth. Universal life is nothing more than a term insurance policy coupled with a so-called investment plan. The investment can pay a fixed rate, or in some cases can be directed into stock, bond, or money market mutual funds. The amount of premium above the cost of the insurance and above the fees and commissions goes into the investment portion of the plan. Universal life insurance makes a very poor investment for many reasons. For example, a 45-year-old man who buys a universal life policy combining a $100,000 face value life insurance policy coupled with a so-called investment promising a yearly return of 10% for 20 years might pay $2,000 in premiums per year, or $167 per month. Sound straightforward? Here are the catches. You are paid the 10% only on the money that goes into the investment. That is, what is left from your $2,000 premium after you deduct the fees, commissions, and of course, the cost of the life insurance itself. In a typical universal life policy, the first year fees and commissions alone can amount to as much as $600. You would lose 30% of your $2,000 to fees and commissions, never to be seen again in your investment plan or anywhere else. Let's say tomorrow afternoon you stroll into your bank and you put $2,000 into a certificate of deposit. No problem, the new accounts officer tells you. By the way, there is a $600 charge for opening the account. How quickly would you be out the door, into the parking lot, leaving only a trail of dust behind you? Makes no more sense losing the money to a life insurance company than it would losing the money to the bank. You are not earning 10% on your premiums, but only on what's left after all other costs and charges are deducted. Each year in a universal life policy, the cost of the insurance goes up, further reducing the amount that goes into the investment portion. Each year, less and less of your $2,000 goes into your investment, but you never see it happening since the premium remains the same each year. The incredibly high surrender charge penalty is the insurance company's method of attempting to make it impractical for you to change your mind and demand your own money back if you come to your senses and decide to drop the policy. Let's look at single premium whole life insurance. Single premium whole life insurance is sold primarily as a tax shelter and not insurance. The concept is simple enough. You deposit a single payment between $5,000 and $500,000 into a plan that combines a whole life policy with an investment. You are supposedly able to accumulate earnings over the years, which can then be borrowed with no taxes. And that money can be used as your income during retirement years. Sounds easy, but there are 6 major drawbacks. Number 1, you're buying the worst value in life insurance, whole life. Number 2, you must buy insurance to qualify for the investment, so less than 100% of your money is invested. And of course, the insurance company is making their big money off of the whole life insurance. Number 3, there are either heavy front-end commissions and fees, big surrender charges that reduce the investment benefit, or you receive only 8 to 10% per year on an investment that should pay you 12 to 15%. One way or the other, the insurance company is making big profits at your expense. Number 4, a bill is pending in Congress that would tax withdrawals as income. A new part of the bill also talks about taxing the buildup within the policy. Congress could impose rules on policies already in force. Number 5, there's a better tax-sheltered investment, often available from the same insurance companies. The investment is called an annuity. Annuity earnings are compounded tax-free as long as the money is left invested. The best tax-sheltered annuities are those that offer mutual funds as investments. In the investment section of your financial library, you'll learn everything you need to know about where to find these annuities. Number 6, you're told that the major benefit is that you may borrow money tax-free from your policy. Remember, the truth is you can borrow money tax-free from anywhere, making this not the major benefit that it is supposed to be.
Strategy 2-6. Buy only term life insurance and devote the rest of your financial plan to prosperous living.
Term insurance is the only right kind of insurance. Term insurance is pure protection, no bells, no whistles, fancy packaging, or investments. The premiums per $1,000 of term insurance are therefore the lowest of any form of life insurance you could buy. If the insured dies, the company agrees to pay the face value to a beneficiary. That's what term insurance is about. Now, some people will tell you, yes, but you can't have term insurance after you reach a certain age. That's nonsense. Once you've purchased a term insurance policy, your insurability can be guaranteed, depending on the company, to age 70, 90, or even 100. However, you may not really need insurance after that time. When you buy term insurance, you pick an insurance period. 1 year in the case of annually renewable term, 5, 10, or even 20 years in the case of level premium term. Now, when the term comes to the end and you renew the policy, it's only natural that the premiums are going to go up for the next term. Why? Because as you get older, your chance for dying in any specific year increases. Check the mortality table in your manual and you'll see at any specific age how many people in 1,000 die. These mortality tables are what the insurance company uses to determine its rates. Term is the least expensive life insurance, often 70 to 80% less than the insurance plus investment policies like whole life or universal life. Term insurance pays salesmen far less in commissions, and therefore is seldom offered if you don't ask. Because insurance policies make poor investments, term insurance is the life insurance choice of all knowledgeable insurance buyers.
Strategy 2-7. Choose the right kind of term insurance for your situation. Annual renewable term or level premium term.
There are a total of 3 different types of term insurance you should understand. Number 1, ART, annually renewable term insurance. You buy a policy for 1 year, at the end of which time you receive a renewal notice for the next year's premium. The younger you are, the lower the rates begin, increasing each year by a few dollars. ART is the least expensive and best value of the 3 types of term insurance if your need for insurance is short term. The insurance is guaranteed renewable every year as long as you pay the premium. As you get older, your life expectancy decreases, so your yearly premiums naturally increase. Number 2, decreasing term. With decreasing term, your yearly premiums remain level, but the amount of insurance decreases. Decreasing term is used for both mortgage insurance and credit life insurance and is usually overpriced by 400 to 800% when used for these purposes. Decreasing term has little value in most circumstances other than making the insurance companies a little bit wealthier. Number 3, level premium term, LPT. You choose a policy period, 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. Both your premium and the amount of the insurance remain constant over the entire period. The longer the term chosen, the higher the yearly premiums. The advantage of a good level term policy is that your premiums remain constant each year, no increases, so you know what to expect. The disadvantage, if there is one, is that your level term premiums are slightly higher in the first few years than the premiums on an ART policy. If you're struggling financially, you may need the lower annually renewable term premium payments, but LPT insurance with its fixed premium guarantees that the rate won't change during the entire policy period. In the last couple of years, new level premium term policies have been created that make LPT the best overall financial bargain. When I wrote my book, Wealth Without Risk, there were no great level premium term policies, and so I recommended all annually renewable term. Now LPT is the best and least expensive overall for most people. There are 3 unique circumstances in which level term rates will definitely be lower than annually renewable term rates. Your age group. If the yearly rates in your age group for level term are lower over a 5 to 10 year period than the equivalent rates for an annually renewable term, the LPT is definitely the best value. You're over 50. If you're over 50 and believe that you will have a need for life insurance for at least 10 years, after age 53, the annual increase in the ART premiums become far greater than in prior years, making level term a definite better choice for you. Medical condition. If you have a pre-existing medical condition or weight problem, or your blood and or urine samples indicate high levels of cholesterol, triglycerides, nicotine, caffeine, or alcohol, these factors, according to the insurance company, may reduce life expectancy, causing additional premiums to be charged. Level term will have lower average annual premiums in that case.
Strategy 2-8. Buy annually renewable term ART insurance if you have a short-term need for insurance coverage.
Your objective is to buy the least expensive life insurance that provides the greatest financial protection. ART will often help you accomplish your goal if you only need the insurance for 5 years or less. When would you need insurance for 5 years or less? Well, let's say you're getting a business or personal loan. You don't have to take credit life, but your bank says that you must have some sort of insurance protection. ART would be your best bet. ART rates are almost always best for those over 40 if buying insurance for only a 1 to 5 year period and purchasing $250,000 or more of insurance coverage. Many insurance companies offer the first 3 years of ART insurance at an exceptionally low rate, believing that once you buy, they've got you. You won't notice the exceptionally higher premiums that you'll pay in the future. So you can take advantage short term of those lower rates.
Strategy 2-9. Buy annually renewable term ART if you are a smoker or are overweight but intend to change your habits.
Another reason to buy ART instead of low-priced level term is that you're either a smoker or overweight, but you intend to change these habits in the next 3 years. Rates for those who are overweight or who smoke are much higher. You can profit from short-term ART insurance now until you can qualify for low non-smoker, better health rates in a few years. Well, these strategies are great if you don't have a lot of insurance now, but what if you've been buying insurance and you need to replace existing policies?
Strategy 2-10. Call the Life Insurance Clearinghouse to get the best value on life insurance.
Remember, one of the most important services you have with your Givens Organization membership is the Life Insurance Clearinghouse. It's an affiliate company of the Givens Organization. I started this organization along with our insurance consultant, Buddy Huell, just to help you succeed with life insurance, to pay the least rates, and to give you a place to call to find out how to do these things and help you move cash values. That 800 number is a free call, and the service of getting this kind of help is free to all of our members. Use it.
Strategy 2-11. Replacing your existing whole life and universal life insurance policies with term insurance.
There are no valid financial reasons for buying or keeping whole life or universal life policies at any age, as long as you're still in good health. You're always better off with term insurance and investing the difference yourself. However, if your health has deteriorated and you're no longer insurable, you should keep your existing policies. They may be the only ones you can get. Otherwise, drop the whole life and universal life policies and replace with term insurance, reinvesting your cash value, in, if any, in tax-sheltered annuities, mutual funds, or other good investments that will make you wealthier instead of the insurance company. Here's your strategy. Get together all of your existing life insurance policies, including those on even your children or your spouse. First, buy the right amount of the right kind of term insurance for your financial plan. Secondly, cancel your existing whole life and universal life policies using the strategies that follow. Third, move or shift your cash value to a tax shelter such as annuities. As part of your membership, you can get help buying insurance and moving cash values into tax shelters by calling the Life Insurance Clearinghouse. That number, 1-800-522-2827. Get your life insurance plan straightened out before you leave this section.
Strategy 2-12. Stop paying premiums to cancel a life insurance policy.
Simply stop paying the premiums. If you have an automatic deduction premium through your checking account, you should send a letter to the financial institution revoking the authorization and requesting that they do not honor any future drafts from your insurance company. A form letter's included in your manual to help you do that. Now, after 30 or 31 days of not paying premiums, after the grace period, the policy will lapse. Some life insurance policies, however, contain an automatic provision to convert your cash value to a reduced, paid-up life insurance policy. Believe me, the insurance company does not want to let go of your money willingly. The provision actually gives the insurance company the right to borrow enough money from your cash value to pay the premiums necessary to keep the policy in force. In addition, the company charges interest on each loan, even though it's your money, and makes a new loan to pay the interest until all of the cash value has been used. Because of these life insurance contract privileges, you must act to liquidate your life insurance policy.
Strategy 2-13. Remove your cash value during the 30-day grace period to stop the automatic conversion into a paid-up policy.
Follow these specific steps to liquidate most life insurance policies and prevent conversion into something you don't want. First, for your records, make a copy of the declaration sheet on your policy, the cash value tables, and the surrender values. Make a copy of the application, which is in your file, and store these copies in your safety deposit box. Secondly, write, print, or type a simple letter or memo of instructions to the home office of your insurance company with your name, social security number, policy number, and a request for the total cash surrender value to be mailed to you immediately upon receipt. A form letter for doing that is in your manual. Third, sign the letter or memo exactly as your name appears on the policy application. If the beneficiary is an adult, have them sign the letter also. Fourth, photocopy the letter and put it in your file. Fifth, enclose your original policy with your letter. Direct the correspondence to the home office of your insurance company, attention, Policyholder Service Department, and mail it return receipt requested. You'll have to go down to the post office to do that. Sixth, place the post office receipt in your file, and when the dated and signed receipt from the insurance company is returned to you, put it in your file also. Seventh, you should have your check within 7 to 10 working days after the signed receipt is returned to you from the insurance company. Now, if there's a discrepancy between the amount you receive and the amount from your surrender value calculations, you must contact the company. Eighth, if you have any problems, when you call, use the insurance company's 800 number or call them collect. Write down the name of every person you talk with and the time and the date. Start by asking for the president. Go straight to the top. Number 9, if you're unable to get satisfaction, file a complaint against the insurance company with your state insurance department. Sound complicated? Believe me, your insurance company doesn't want you to get your hands on your own cash value. This series of actions will get you your cash value. As you can see, if you didn't know these things, the chance of doing anything right would be very minimal.
Strategy 2-14. Use the life insurance to annuity rollover rules to tax protect your existing life insurance cash values. Strategy 2-15. Borrow and reinvest your life insurance cash value.
A second alternative, if your health makes you uninsurable, is to borrow the cash value of your policy at 5 to 8% and reinvest at 20% using the investment strategies in the investment section of your financial library. Under the new tax laws, interest paid on borrowed insurance money is deductible if the money is used as investment capital.
Strategy 2-16. Don't give life insurance proceeds to your heirs in a lump sum.
Your responsibility is to write your will so that the insurance money is invested according to your instructions and not given to family members in a lump sum. Only then can you ensure that the benefits of the insurance money will continue for the number of years required to raise the kids and provide the economic security for your heirs. After the kids are grown, you may state in your will that the principal amount, still preserved by the investment, can now be split among the surviving family members. In 8 to 10 actual cases, the lump sum insurance proceeds are totally gone in just 1 to 5 years through unintentional mismanagement and dependence on financial advice from what I call the investment sharks.
Section 2, Part 2, Casualty Insurance.
Objective: to save you 50% of your premiums on automobile insurance, homeowners, mortgage, disability, liability, and even rental car insurance. Can you do it? You bet you can, using the strategies that I'm going to teach you. Casualty insurance covers most everything that life insurance doesn't cover. There are a dozen types of casualty insurance policies and coverages that salesmen will try to sell you. However, half no one needs, everybody buys. The other half everybody really needs, but few know how to correctly buy. Now, I'd like for you to have your current automobile, homeowners, and other policies in front of you. As we go through the strategies, make notes on those items that you wish to change. Let's start with your automobile insurance policy. There's an area where we can save hundreds a year. Auto insurance laws were enacted to protect innocent victims of accidents from serious financial loss. Most states require that registered car owners do have insurance. Automobile insurance is one of your biggest expenses in life. Yet you'll find you can cut your premiums 30 to 50% with these strategies. There are 8 different automobile coverages that you must first understand: bodily injury liability, property damage liability, umbrella liability, comprehensive, collision, medical payments, no-fault insurance, and uninsured motorist coverage. Liability insurance. The liability portion of your policy covers your legal liability for damage that you do to other people or to their property. There are 3 types of liability coverage available on your policy. Number 1, bodily injury liability. Now that covers injury to people in other cars, to pedestrians, to passengers in your car, and you and your family members are also covered while driving somebody else's car, including rental cars. Bodily injury liability covers legal defense and any damages up to the limits stated in your policy, whether determined by negotiation, before a trial, or by a jury at a trial. There are 2 limits that you have to choose on a policy. The first, the maximum the insurance company will pay each person injured, and the second, the maximum the company will pay total per accident. Most states require that you carry at least $10,000, $20,000 limits. Of course, that means $10,000 maximum liability per person and $20,000 per accident.
Strategy 2-17, carry enough bodily injury liability to cover your net assets plus all potential legal fees.
How much liability protection should you carry? Well, let's say it again. Enough per person to cover the net value of your assets, plus an extra about 1/3 for attorney's fees. If you rent your home and are living paycheck to paycheck, have very few assets, the minimum protection is probably enough. However, if you have $100,000 equity in your home, $50,000 in personal assets, money in investment plans, you want to carry as much as $250,000, $500,000, or even up to $1 million worth of liability, which we'll discuss in a moment. Number 2, property damage liability. Property damage liability covers damage to someone else's car or someone else's property caused by your car. Family members and others driving with permission are also covered by your policy. Limits should be at least $50,000 because of the current high cost of automobiles and the possibility of multiple car damages. The limit applies per accident.
Strategy 2-18, carry a minimum of $50,000 property damage liability coverage or a maximum of $100,000.
Number 3, umbrella liability. Most everybody these days is concerned about personal liability and the possibility of being sued rightly or wrongly. The more assets you accumulate, the more important personal liability protection becomes. The 2 potential mistakes that you can make are being underinsured and overpaying for the liability insurance you do have.
Strategy 2-19, buy $1 million of umbrella liability coverage for under $150 per year.
Liability insurance is part of every automobile and homeowner's policy. Instead of raising the limits on both automobile and homeowners policies and paying double premiums, you can buy an inexpensive supplemental umbrella liability policy that covers all personal liabilities. You can buy $1 million worth of this insurance, this umbrella liability insurance, for only $100 to $150 per year. And that covers the same potential liability losses included in both your homeowners and your automobile policy. However, you must ask for the umbrella liability insurance by name. Since the commissions are so small, often your insurance agent will neglect to mention it. Before selling you the umbrella liability supplement, most insurance companies require you to, first, carry a minimum limit on your homeowners and automobile policies for liability, usually the $100,000, $300,000 limits. And number 2, they require you to place both your automobile and homeowners policies with their company. Let's look at comprehensive and collision insurance. Number 4, comprehensive. Comprehensive insurance pays for losses due to theft, damage from fire, glass breakage, falling objects, explosions, and on and on. The deductible ranges from $50 to $500. You choose the deductible. Number 5, collision insurance. Collision insurance covers damage to your car in the event that you collide with another vehicle or object, no matter who is at fault. Your insurance company will seek reimbursement from the other driver's insurer if you're not at fault, and then reimburse you for your deductible. Deductibles usually range from $100 to $1,000. You choose the deductible.
Strategy 2-20, when value of your car drops below $1,500, drop the collision and comprehensive coverage.
Remember, if your car is damaged, you can't collect more than the car is worth, no matter how much in premiums you've been paying. When your car is older and not worth much, it no longer pays to carry comprehensive and collision insurance at all. Thieves don't tend to steal old cars in the first place because the penalty is no greater for stealing a new car. When you look at the amount of premiums you pay plus the high deductible, it doesn't make sense to carry comprehensive and collision insurance on older, less expensive cars.
Strategy 2-24, never pay out more in premiums than you can collect in damages.
You pay so much extra for lower deductibles that, over the years, you could not collect in damages half of what you're paying in premiums. Lower deductibles waste big dollars. Remember, insurance is not free. Collecting on a claim from an insurance company is not a gift. The insurance company's cost of processing even the smallest claim is over $400 just for the administration expenses and paperwork. And of course, these costs get added to the premiums you pay for lower deductibles.
Strategy 2-25, substitute a free credit card for expensive low insurance deductibles.
For some, the concern is, well, what if I raise my deductible and I'm responsible for a deductible or can't collect from the other driver? What if I don't have the money to fix my car? Your best no-cost insurance is a no annual fee MasterCard or Visa, which is never used for purposes other than emergencies or unusual one-time expenses. With a $1,000 or $2,000 credit card limit, you have the cash available, but unlike premiums, the credit card costs you nothing unless you use it. It is also important to know how your automobile insurance premiums are determined so you can qualify for lower rates. In addition to how much and what kind of coverage you choose, there are 5 other factors that relate to where you live, how you drive, what kind of car you own that also affect the premiums you pay. Let's look at them. First, rating territories. Premiums are higher in cities where population density and traffic congestion are high and lower in rural areas. The company's accident experience in your area also determines your rates. Your premiums from company to company for the same city can vary as much as 100% because of different accident ratios for different companies. Number 2, driver classification. Age, sex, and marital status are all factors used in determining your premiums. Those over 25, women, and married people seem to have fewer accidents, so they have the lowest rates. Males under 25 who are unmarried and the principal driver of a car have the greatest statistical chance of accidents and therefore the highest rates. Your driving record, number 3. Those responsible for accidents or who have been convicted of driving violations tend, the insurance companies say, to have a greater chance for future accidents, and therefore they pay higher premiums. In most states, points are assigned for moving violations. The more points you have, the higher your rates. Points remain on your driving record for 3 years. Slow down. Number 4, the use of your car. Those who drive to and from work have a greater chance for accidents than those who use a car for pleasure only. So the premium categories are usually as follows. No commuting, lowest premium. Less than 10 miles to work, higher premium. More than 10 miles to work, the highest premium. Number 5, the type of car you buy. Expensive cars cost more to repair and therefore cost more to insure. Using the damageability rating charts in your manual, you can determine in advance whether the insurance premiums are worth the pleasure derived from driving certain types of cars.
Strategy 2-26, check insurance rates on an automobile before you buy it.
Because some cars are more expensive to replace or repair, insurance companies assign code numbers, 1 through 21, to each model. The higher the code number, the more expensive your car will be, and the more expensive your collision and comprehensive insurance premiums will be. The damageability rating is initially assigned from the sticker price and then raised or lowered depending on the average cost of parts and repairs on that particular model. For example, if a model type is initially rated a 7, its sticker price is between $6,501 and $8,000. Refer to the automobile sticker price code number chart in your manual. The rating is then upgraded by +1 or more if the car is more expensive to repair than other cars costing the same amount, or it could be lowered by -1 or more if the car is less expensive to repair. This means that while the car's sticker price is between $6,500 and $8,000, its damageability factor may make its cost of repair like that of a car that initially cost maybe $8,000 to $10,000. Thus, your insurance premiums are going to be higher. These damageability ratings will give you an idea of the difference in comprehensive and collision premiums you'll pay for a car that you're buying. The insurance could cost more or less than you bargained for and is a factor in determining which car you can afford to drive. In your manual, you'll find all types of cars and models listed for you, and they will show what the insurance company's rating book determines is the damageability factor. Strategies to cut your auto insurance premiums.
Strategy 2-27. Shop around to save 25% on auto insurance premiums.
Automobile insurance companies set premiums, remember, based on the amount of claims paid in each area. Auto insurance rates vary as much as 100% from company to company. According to an independent study, fewer than 1 in 4 drivers will ever get more than one quote before buying auto insurance. When your policy is up for renewal, get several quotes. Shop around. You'll be amazed at the difference in prices. Some of the companies that seem to have lower rates in many areas are Geico, USAA Mutual, State Farm, Travelers, and Liberty Mutual. Start there in your search. Many agents, to make shopping more difficult, will not quote over the phone. But don't let that stop you. Let your wheels do the walking. Companies like Geico make it easy. They'll send you a little form to fill out. You can give them a call, and they'll give you a quote.
Strategy 2-29. Determine how much an accident or a ticket will raise your premiums.
You will be shocked at the different practices that auto insurance companies have affecting policyholders who get a ticket or are involved in an accident. Some will raise your rates 20% after only one occurrence. Other companies will cancel your insurance altogether. Choose a company that won't brand you a loser just because you've had one bad experience.
Strategy 2-30. Ask for the 5 basic automobile insurance discounts.
There are 5 discounts offered by auto insurance companies to those who fall into special groups. When you're buying auto insurance, be certain to ask. The agent may not bring these discounts up. Discount number 1, multi-car. That means you've got more than one automobile insured by the same company. Discounts 5 to 20%. Discount number 2, driver training. Take a state-certified driver training course and your premiums can drop 5 to 15%. Discount number 3, good driver. With a clean driving record, you may save 5 to 20% on your automobile policy. Discount number 4, anti-theft equipment. Alarms or systems that disengage your ignition can save you 5% to 20%. And number 5, senior citizen discount. With some companies, that may save you another 5 to 20%. If you ask for all of the discounts you're entitled to, your total premiums may drop another 20% or more. It certainly pays to ask. In your manual, you'll find some forms that will help you completely reorganize your automobile policy. Forms are called Redesigning Your Automobile Insurance Policy Part 1 and Part 2. Now, Part 1 shows you the coverages you need, which are liability, which include bodily injury and property damage, comprehensive, and collision. The coverages you don't need, we discussed before, are no-fault, medical payments, uninsured motorists, emergency road service, car rental expense, death, dismemberment, specialty coverages. All of these tend to be duplicate coverages for most people. Now, using Part 2, you'll find that I've designed a form that will allow you to fill in the blanks. The first 2 columns show your current limits and your desired limits. Get out your automobile insurance policy, write your current limits for everything you're carrying, then, based on our strategies, fill in the desired limits. Column 3 will show you your current premiums, list the current amounts you're paying, and by redesigning your policy, show the new premiums that you'll be paying. You may actually copy Part 2 and use this form to get quotes from different companies. We've inserted zeros under coverages to drop under the new premiums. If you decide to carry any of those, simply scratch out the 0 and insert the new premiums. Rental car insurance strategies.
Strategy 2-31. Decline all extra insurance coverages when you rent a car.
Another great insurance scheme has been created by the rental car companies by advertising low daily or weekly rates and adding on big unnecessary insurance premiums. The rental car companies create huge profits from the confusion and fear of customers. Now, there are 4 add-on optional rental car insurance premiums, and they are collision damage waiver, which we were going to refer to as CDW, personal accident insurance, PAI, personal effects coverage, PEC, and liability supplement, LIS. Although these coverages are supposedly optional, the rental car company, if you've had the experience, will do everything within its power to see you end up buying all of them. All of these insurances are either unnecessary because you're already covered on other policies, or they are incredibly overpriced for the amount of insurance you get. Here are typical daily and weekly premiums. As you can see, take all 4 types of insurance, you can pay $16.70 a day or $116.90 a week from the companies that we surveyed. Let's look at these one at a time so you'll understand what they are. 1. Collision damage waiver. Year after year, rental car companies require that you become liable for more of the damage caused by a collision or rollover of a rented vehicle. Your deductible on damage to a rental car now ranges from $3,000 to the full value of the car. The rental car company will offer you CDW insurance for about $7.50 a day to cover the deductible. Here's what they don't tell you. Even without taking the insurance, you're already covered by the rental car company for fire and theft. And under the occasional driver clause in your automobile policy, you're covered for the collision damage. Any deductible you pay will be reimbursed to you by your insurance company based on the limits in your policy. Charge your rental car on a credit card that covers the deductible. One of the new valuable credit card services is automatic coverage of the collision deductible when you charge a rental car on your credit card. The American Express Platinum card covers the first $50,000 and a Diners Club card automatically covers the first $25,000 of damages. Doesn't cost anything, you just charge the rental car on your card. An air travel card issued by the airlines and many MasterCard and Visa cards now also cover the deductible up to $3,000, and there's no additional cost to you. Number 2, personal accident insurance. PAI insurance is nothing more than an expensive life insurance policy with medical payments. The policy states the coverage pays for death directly caused by an automobile accident independent of all other causes. Never take the insurance. You would be paying the equivalent of $1,000 per year for a $175,000 life insurance policy that covers you only a few minutes, a few days, a year while you're driving rental cars. The actual value of the insurance is less than $50 per year. You're already covered for medical payments by your hospitalization policy. Number 3, personal effects coverage. PEC, or personal effects coverage, covers damage to your personal property while in the rental car or in your hotel room while you're renting the car. Coverage is limited to a maximum of $525 for you and your immediate family members. Again, an absolute waste of money. The exclusions, what they won't pay for, are almost comical. Teeth, contact lenses, furniture, currency, coins, tickets, documents, and perishables or mysterious disappearances. What in the world's left? Your own homeowner's policy already gives you the same coverage when you're away from home. Check with your insurance agent if you have any doubts. Number 4, liability insurance supplement, LIS. When you rent a car, your automatic liability coverage for injury or death to others is the bare minimum required by the state. For an extra $495 a day, the liability coverage will be increased to $1 million or more. Your own automobile insurance policy already covers you up to its current limits. And by getting the personal umbrella liability policy discussed earlier, you're covered for $1 million of liability already at a fraction of the cost. You can pay as little as $100 a week to rent a car and as much as $117 for additional unnecessary insurance coverages. The discount rental car companies in resort areas such as Florida are the most misleading in their advertising. By advertising rental rates as low as $99 a week, vacationers end up at the counter only to be threatened into accepting optional insurance. Rental agents are often paid bonuses for selling the extra insurance, and sales pitches are sometimes between aggressive and obnoxious. Some companies require a deposit of $750 in cash if you don't take the collision damage waiver. You may end up taking the insurance just because you're afraid the deposit would put your Visa over the limit. Motorcycle insurance.
Strategy 2-32. Buy a separate 6 or 9 month policy to cover motorcycles, mopeds, and snowmobiles.
Motorcycle insurance is similar to auto insurance, even though motorcycles are not classified as automobiles by insurance companies. Most states requiring auto liability insurance also require motorcycle liability coverage. You should have liability coverage on your motorcycle or snowmobile. A car owner may insure a motorcycle with an endorsement to his auto policy. You're not covered, however, for your motorcycle through your basic auto policy. Motorcyclists can get coverages for bodily injury and property damage liability, medical payments, usually limited to $500, uninsured motorist coverage, and collision and physical damage coverage. Use the same strategies for your motorcycle or snowmobile as you would with your automobile. You probably will not need coverage for other passengers if the only people riding with you are family members. In addition, many insurance companies offer 6-month and 9-month policies to motorcyclists and snowmobilers where the equipment is garaged for winter or summer. Ask your agent, it'll save you money. Homeowners insurance.
Strategy 2-33. Take only the coverages you need on your homeowner's policy.
The risks you take when you own a home are called perils. These perils have been divided into 18 different categories. The amount of premium you pay for a homeowner's policy is determined by the number of these perils you wish to insure. The more perils covered, the more expensive your policy. Most all homeowners' policies cover your home, other buildings on your property, for instance a detached garage, your personal belongings, other than expensive items like jewelry and furs, and living expenses for temporary relocation. There are 3 major policies to understand. These are the HO1, the HO2, and the HO5. And the perils covered by each are shown in a chart in your manual. Let's take a look at the chart. The chart is called Homeowners Insurance Policies. Notice that the basic form HO1 covers the first 11 perils down through glass breakage. The advantage of an HO2 is the coverage for frozen pipes and water damage. This policy is the best value for those living in climates where pipes do freeze. Others living in warmer climates, however, get the best value from HO1, which costs less. If you wanted to cover everything possible to cover other than flood, earthquake, volcano, war, and nuclear accident, you would pick the comprehensive HO5 policy. Mobile homeowners pay more for homeowners insurance because mobile homes are more vulnerable to the elements. There's a new homeowners insurance policy, HO76, which is actually HO1 through HO5, written in simplified languages and with a few additions such as credit card coverages. You might check the value of that policy. You have an option of 6 additional coverages. These coverages are a very poor value and should not be taken.
Strategy 2-34. Decline the additional coverages on your homeowner's policy.
Additional coverages fall into the 6 following categories: removal of debris, damaged property removal, fire department surcharges up to $250, temporary repairs to prevent further damage to property, trees, shrubs, and plants covered up to $500 or a maximum of 5% of the dwelling insurance, and stolen credit cards up to $500. All of these cost too much to insure.
Strategy 2-35. Purchase a personal articles floater to cover expensive personal items.
Your basic policy limits what you can collect for theft or damage of personal articles. Insure expensive jewelry, furs, and other personal property with a personal articles floater. As your wealth increases and your personal assets increase, make certain these items are covered.
Strategy 2-36. Buy flood or earthquake insurance only if you're in a government-designated floodplain or earthquake zone.
Flood and earthquake insurance should be purchased by those in designated potential disaster areas, but not by others. To be eligible for flood insurance, you must be in an area that practices land use control measures, and in some cases, your mortgage company will require the insurance. In some parts of the country, earthquake insurance is too expensive to be practical. You can't afford to insure against every possible risk, so it pays to weigh the potential cost against the potential loss.
Strategy 2-37. Videotape your valuables for insurance records.
You can only collect for what you can prove you lost. The best way to provide an acceptable insurance record is to use your video camera to create a video record of furniture, knickknacks, artwork, clothes, stereo and video equipment, including the model and serial numbers, musical instruments, and everything else of value. While you're taping, verbally record the value of the asset, where and when you bought it, put the videotape in a safety deposit box along with the receipts. Records won't help if they're lost along with your assets. If you don't have a video camera, use your slide or Polaroid camera and a tape recorder.
Strategy 2-38. Buy replacement value coverage, not market value coverage on your home.
Replacement value coverage will pay whatever it costs to replace an asset that is lost, destroyed, or stolen. Market value coverage will pay only the current value of the asset. After age and wear and tear are deducted, if your 5-year-old $1,000 VCR is stolen, the replacement value coverage will pay you $1,000. But market value coverage may net you only $200. Surprisingly, replacement value coverage costs only about $10 more per year. Make sure your fire insurance is a replacement cost policy, not a market value policy. The value of your home may fluctuate with real estate market conditions, and a market value policy may pay you less than the cost to replace your home. Ask for an automatic appreciation clause in your policy that will raise your coverage limits each year without the necessity of checking with your agent.
Strategy 2-39. Carry as fire insurance at least, but not more than, 80% of the replacement cost of your home.
Fire insurance rates are set by considering location, distance from the nearest fire hydrant and fire station, and the type of construction and the age of your home. These are factors over which you have little control once you've bought the home. You can, however, control the amount and kind of insurance you buy, which in turn controls your premiums. Carry enough insurance to cover at least 80%, but not necessarily 100% of the replacement value of your home. You are automatically covered for up to 100% of a loss as long as the policy is written for 80% or more of the value of your home. Never underinsure, because if coverage is less than 80% of replacement cost and you have a loss, the policy will pay only a percentage of the loss. Never overinsure, because you're paying premium dollars on which you can never collect. Tenants insurance.
Strategy 2-40. Buy a special tenants policy, HO-4, if you rent a home or an apartment.
The tenants policy is designed for those who rent an apartment or house or own a cooperative apartment. It insures household contents and personal belongings against all of the perils included in the broad form HO2, plus additional living expenses. Renters policies provide a minimum of $4,000 coverage on personal property and a minimum of $800 for additional living expenses, in case the unit becomes uninhabitable. Renters policies also provide liability coverage for injuries, property damage, and even legal expenses, and are a good value. If you rent, don't be without one. Owners, landlords, and tenants liability insurance.
Strategy 2-41. Protect your rental properties with an owner's, landlord's, and tenant's policy, OLT.
Insurance for landlords falls under the general category of public liability insurance. OLT policies cover the liability arising from the ownership and maintenance of a rental property. OLT policies are relatively inexpensive and can be added as a supplement to the fire insurance policy on a rental home. Loan insurance, credit, life, and disability.
Strategy 2-42. Say no to loan insurance, credit, life, and disability.
You can save $1,000 every time you borrow $10,000 for an automobile or any purpose by declining the credit, life, and disability insurance. Let's say you're buying a $10,000 automobile and financing it at the bank or credit union. The last question the loan officer will ask right before he approves your application is, by the way, you do want the credit, life, and disability insurance, don't you? You look up, caught off guard, and ask, what the heck is Credit Life? Well, he says, Credit Life pays off your loan if you die. Disability insurance makes the loan payments if you can't work. It all sounds so logical until you consider the cost. If you say yes to the insurance, you're overpaying by 800% for the insurance you get. 60% of the premiums go as a commission to the financial institution. That should tell you how much the insurance is really worth. Banks, credit unions, and finance companies can actually make more profit from the loan insurance than from the interest they charge. How do I know? I'm the owner of 2 banks in Florida. What do most borrowers do? Well, they simply look up at the loan officer and ask, do you really think I ought to take this insurance? No loan officer has ever answered no. And millions of dollars of unnecessary insurance are sold every month in the process. The insurance is added to your monthly payments. If the Credit Life and Disability premiums amount to $17 a month, you pay $810 on a 48-month loan plus over $200 interest, which increases the cost of your automobile over 10%. Credit Life pays only the balance of the loan at the time the insured dies and is therefore expensive, decreasing term insurance. If your car costs $12,000 and you die owing only one payment of $327, the insurance pays only $327. Your heirs get nothing from the policy. Only the financial institution collects. The abuses of Credit Life and Disability insurance became so rampant in the 70s that a consumer protection law was enacted preventing a financial institution from making the approval of a loan application contingent on whether the borrower accepts the insurance. Fine and jail sentence are possible for institutions and people who violate the law, but you would never know it from the way the loan officers talk. If you want a personal loan paid off if something happens to you, don't buy loan insurance. Buy inexpensive, annually renewable term life insurance. You'll save 75% of the premiums. Mortgage life insurance.
Strategy 2-43. Replace expensive mortgage life insurance with inexpensive term insurance.
Mortgage insurance pays off your home mortgage if you die, similar to Credit Life. The logic of mortgage insurance is sound. You want your family to be relieved of mortgage payments if you're not around. The problem is the high cost of the insurance compared to the risk. It's estimated that mortgage insurance companies actually pay out less than 30 cents in claims for every dollar they collect in premiums. At age 54, $80,000 of mortgage life insurance can cost as much as $1,128 per year in one policy we looked at. At the same age, you can buy an $80,000 annually renewable term policy to accomplish the same thing for $200 a year. Savings, $900 a year. Premiums are even less if you add $80,000 to an existing term policy. Mortgage insurance proceeds go directly to the mortgage company, but annually renewable term proceeds go to your heirs. By correctly investing these proceeds, $80,000 in our example, the mortgage payments can be made until the home is paid for while completely preserving the principal. Medical insurance.
Strategy 2-45. Buy disability insurance only if you are in poor health or are accident prone.
For people in reasonably good health, putting money into a good investment plan will pay far greater, longer-term rewards than dumping it into a disability insurance policy. Disability insurance promises to pay you cash if you become disabled and can't work. Concept is great, but once again, the costs far outweigh the potential benefits. The insurance company has to pay thousands of dollars for administrative and sales expenses, paperwork, and medical exams before it can even begin paying a claim, and of course, these costs are built into the premiums. The restrictions and definitions of disability are so confining that few policyholders will ever collect. Should you decide you want disability insurance anyway, you can cut the high premiums by 50% by increasing the waiting period. The waiting period, similar to a deductible, is the amount of time you must be disabled and unable to work before the insurance takes effect. The usual waiting period is 30 to 90 days, but by increasing the waiting period to 6 months or 1 year, the premiums drop as much as 50%, while still giving you the most important part, protection against long-term disability. You don't suddenly lose everything because you become temporarily unable to work. If you're injured on the job, the mandatory workman's compensation insurance carried by your employer will pay you. Your employer may also have a disability plan as part of your company benefit package. Also, cancel or refuse the disability premium waiver on your life insurance and the credit disability insurance on loans. Specialty insurance.
Strategy 2-46. Don't buy specialty health and life insurance policies.
Avoid health and life insurance policies hyped on television and through the mail. The most popular versions are those that pick up where Medicare leaves off, promise low-cost life insurance to those 55 to 75, pay $50 a day in addition to your hospitalization, insure against one disease such as cancer, or provide coverage for special groups such as veterans. The premiums are 400% too high for the potential payoff, and the restrictions guarantee that few will ever collect. Many of the ads play on the fears rather than the good sense of retired people. When you see stars advertising these policies on television, remember that they get about as much as 30% of the money that comes in, all built into the premiums. In the state of Florida recently, the insurance commissioner forced some of these ads off television, and you'll see it in other states as well.
Section 3. Buying and borrowing strategies. Section 3, Part 1. Basic borrowing super strategies. Strategy 3-1. When borrowing money, never take no for an answer.
Because one store, bank, or mortgage company turns you down doesn't mean everyone will. Make obtaining credit a game and say to yourself, I will not be denied. I once saw a now successful young lady get turned down by 5 banks in 2 days for a $2,000 business loan. The 6th bank said yes. Where would she be today if she'd given up after 3 or 4 or 5 banks? Use your good credit to build your wealth. Work on overcoming the stigma of poor credit in the shortest possible time, but most of all, put your credit profile and credit power where it belongs, in your own capable hands.
Strategy 3-2. If the return on a potential investment is less than the interest on a loan, pay cash. If the return is more, borrow to buy and invest your cash.
Automobiles and other rapidly depreciating assets are certainly not investments, but you face the same financing decisions as with mortgages. Should you finance the automobile or pay cash? Of course, the question only applies to those who have the cash. You must first understand an important financial measuring stick called opportunity cost, or what I call opportunity lost. If you pay cash, you automatically lose the opportunity to invest that cash. If you could borrow, let's say at 12% to buy an automobile, but instead pay cash, your opportunity cost is what you could have earned by investing that same amount of money minus the 12% interest. If you could have earned 20% in no-load mutual funds, you'll learn how later, your opportunity cost would have been 8%. That's 20% minus 12%. You would be losing an opportunity for earning an additional 8% on your money. In this case, the greater profit would come from borrowing to buy the automobile and investing your dollars in the mutual fund. However, if a 9% bank certificate of deposit is the best investment you know of, you would be better off paying cash for the car. Paying cash instead of financing at 12% is like investing your money at 12% interest. Every financial decision, everyone has an opportunity cost, and computing your opportunity cost will always help you make the correct borrow or pay cash decision.
Strategy 3-3. Finance furniture, stereo equipment, and other personal assets no longer than 24 months. Automobiles no longer than 36 months.
In today's world of easy money, you become bombarded with opportunities to pay over time rather than to pay at this time. Choosing a shorter-term loan, as with a mortgage, can put thousands in your pocket. When it comes to borrowing, the only 2 questions Americans have learned to ask are, how much is my down payment and what are the monthly payments? The most important element of a loan is your total payments. That's what eats into your lifetime wealth. The longer the term, the lower the monthly payments is a true statement, but the law of diminishing returns raises the total cost of what you're buying far beyond the benefit of lower payments. When you lengthen the term of a loan to reduce the payments, the total interest paid increases dramatically. When you shorten the term, your monthly payments are slightly higher, but two positive financial rewards are yours.